Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Laura Ingraham, guest hosting while Tucker is on vacation with his family. I have a question. Do you know what a liberal's idea of Armageddon is? No, it's not a nuclear North Korea, but a successful Trump presidency. Do you know what the never-Trump Republicans on Capitol Hill fear the most? No, it's not ISIS, and it's not a 5,000-point drop in the Dow, but a successful Trump presidency. Today is the 200th day of this administration, and despite the hyperventilation and alarmism we're hearing from the National Press Corps, they're prematurely declaring the Trump administration a failure, of course. But in fact, it's the resistance to Trump that is playing a risky gambit. Now, I'm talking about the resistance like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, of course, groups like La Raza and Planned Parenthood on the left, and on the supposed right, Senators Jeff Flake, people like John McCain and Thom Tillis. And what unites all of them is their sad and rather pathetic fear and loathing of President Trump. So they want you so saturated in this endless and mindless Russia story deal and other irrelevant West Wing staff intrigue that's mostly fueled by leaks that you even begin to believe their negative spin. And let's face it, these people are happiest when his numbers go down, when his legislation and his confirmation stall, even if their own approval numbers go down too. It's like they don't even care. And by the way, their approval numbers have also gone down a lot. And Trump's approval rating may only be, about 37% according to one poll, but check this out. Thom Tillis's approval rating, North Carolina, 29%. Nancy Pelosi's, 27%. Chuck Schumer's is 26%. And Mitch McConnell's is a very impressive 17%. Now, despite 2 years of nonstop bile and vitriol from Washington's bipartisan elite class, Trump is actually beating all of them. Now, while, of course, it's true that marquee legislative successes are lacking, whether on health care, tax reform, infrastructure, but it's equally true as well that President Trump has done a lot, even without Congress, to make our lives better. Think about it. Consumer confidence, of course, the stock market, new business startups, wages even, and the GDP are all up. And in foreign policy, we have a lot of challenges out there, but his team has worked to forge new alliances where possible and make it clear to our allies that we expect them to pay their fair share for their own defense, not get us suckered into another trade deal or another international deal that saps our wealth and independence. And what else has he done? Well, President Trump has streamlined onerous regulations and red tape in almost every federal department. And he's given relief to our vets at the VA. He's gotten a phenomenal justice confirmed at the Supreme Court and has 29 more poised to be approved to other federal courts. And on trade, well, I said he put the cheaters on notice, and he's already changed the behavior of offending nations as a result. And I say this, other than maybe Bernie Sanders, he's the only living American politician who could get tens of thousands of people to show up in the middle of the summer, a hot day, and a non-election year to hear him speak. His approval numbers, yeah, they need boosting, that's for sure. But considering the 24/7 media onslaught against him, the distraction of the Russia probe, and the resistance from Congress, both sides in Congress, he's done a heck of a lot in just 200 days. And if he can keep focused, and he can keep his team motivated, keep them together, and put pressure on the Hill to deliver on some of these big issues, he'll improve his numbers, and he'll grow the populist movement. Mark Green is a former New York City public advocate who has created an anti-Trump shadow cabinet online. Hi, Mark. I bet you just loved every word of what I said in my talking points memo.
I'm a big admirer of your skills and endurance. And I did hear what you said, and I'm talking to an audience who's heard that and tens of thousands of hours on Fox about what you said. May I have a contrary view that's not ideological, but factual?
Yeah. You're here.
Okay. There are two reasons that Trump has been a predictable, historic failure. First, there has never been a president in the modern era of polling who at this point is at 33% favorable. Barack Obama, the villain of Fox, was at 60%, and he ended up at 60%. There has never been a president in the modern era who has zero major legislation of his own enacted. Never
so you
been
think
a president.
So you think that helping the VA?
I didn't
no, well, guess what? You don't get a mini monologue. I do. But so you're saying the VA legislation is not a big. It's nothing. Helping the veterans is nothing.
It's Obama's legislation. He screwed up the VA and they passed it. There's never been a president who had to fire his chief of staff, of course, and the communications crew and a special counsel.
Yeah, Obama never fired anyone, even after Benghazi. He didn't fire people. That's the problem.
It took Nixon 6 years to get to a special prosecutor on the brink of impeachment. Of course, with Mueller, with a foreign adversary, according to all the intelligence agencies, penetrating the American democracy to help Trump. You don't deny that. He is now on the brink.
So, Mark, do you actually think what even some former Obama officials say they have no evidence for, which is that Russia changed the outcome of the election? So Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, etc., voters turned out because of Putin? Do you actually really think that?
No, your rhetorical question with your voice being raised doesn't cut it. All our intelligence agencies say
either,
that Russia tried to elect Trump. And he lost the vote, obviously, but he won the Electoral College because in 1787 they gave extra electoral votes to the rural South.
You don't like those other states. You like the coast.
Fine.
I know that.
But here's who agrees with me, Laura. Most conservative intellectuals, Krauthammer, Kristol,
the intellectuals.
Trump. You don't like them?
Well, when you say intellectuals, Mark,
Peggy Noonan. How about them?
What you were saying right now, when you say the intellectuals think, do you understand at all? I mean, okay, we get you think Trump's a disaster, he's a failure, the worst ever. We get that.
I've seen all of your
your great adjectives. I mean, we have a list of all your adjectives. You know, basically, in your mind, he's Hitler, Mussolini,
hold it,
Stalin, all rolled into one.
I've never.
It's called a joke, but you can laugh.
You're the one who used adjectives
so what
like
you basically believe is that
don't put words in my mouth, Laura.
The intellectuals on the coast, they know better than the millions of people in the electoral states that ended up mattering in the end, than those people selected. So do they have any right to be upset with what's happened to this country, the middle class who turned out for Trump? Aside from all the things you dislike about Trump. Why did they not turn out for your prized, vaunted Democrat Party?
If you want to put Peggy Noonan and Charles Krauthammer and Bill Kristol into the elites.
Well, Bill Kristol and Charles Krauthammer both thought Trump was going to lose, and they both were absolutely critical throughout against Trump during the primary. So they didn't want Trump to win. Peggy Noonan is a different deal, and I love Peggy. But the fact that three Republican intellectuals with whom you disagree on pretty much every other issue say that is really not dispositive.
How about America, where he is half the popularity of Obama? How about the world? Pew Research Center did a survey.
Oh, the world?
Would you trust?
I'm shedding a tear about what the world thinks.
Allow me to get to the conclusion of one sentence. They asked the people around the world, would you trust Trump or Obama, who's out of office? 64% trusted Obama, 22% Trump.
Yeah.
We are a laughing stock numerically.
What are the Democrats, Mark, today? So we've established that, in your view, Trump's the worst. No one's worse. No one's ever been worse than Donald Trump.
You heard what I said.
Mark, pipe down. Okay, pipe down for a minute.
Okay.
So you have spent your minutes here saying Donald Trump's the worst. My question to you is, okay, what next for you? What next for you in the Democrat Party? What do you have to offer those middle-class voters who did turn out? Many of them voted for Obama. They had a lot of faith in Obama. They turned out and voted this time around for Donald Trump. And his popularity among those people is still riding pretty high. What do the Democrats offer to them?
I try to say I was going to be factual, not ideological. As you know, 88% of Republicans voted for Trump over Clinton, and it's now down to 75%.
Okay, so you will not on this show tonight give me a few substantive solutions for the Democrats to win over those critical middle-class voters.
Now that you're beyond your adjectives and my numbers, let's talk about the Democrats. Hillary lost for a lot of reasons, but one of them is on her shoulders. She didn't talk about economic change in a way that people connected to. Now, by the way, as you know, George W. Bush ended his term losing $14 trillion in a recession, had a -9%.
I'm a huge critic of George W. Bush, so you and I agree on all that.
Okay, but fine. Obama took that Great Recession and had 80 straight months of growth through now. So any credit Trump wants to take before his own budget is enacted, you're the rooster taking credit for the dawn.
So South Korea is actually helping out on trade now and doing better on trade. That's because of Barack Obama? Are you kidding me?
80 straight months of growth under Obama. And we'll see how Trump does, but he's taking credit for Obama. Look, Democrats have to look. I doubt Mueller will be successfully fired. And whatever he does is separate and apart.
So the Democrats have no solution. The Democrats' solution, basically tonight, no, because I gave you time and you went back to stuff that doesn't matter. But the Democrats' solution
America and the world don't like him because he's failing. That doesn't matter.
To resist Donald Trump. That's your solution for the middle class.
We need candidates like Elizabeth Warren who say, okay, look, my whole life I've been a single mom from Oklahoma. Here's what I want to do for consumers and workers. Are you for a minimum wage increase from $7.25 more?
I'm hoping you're right, Mark. We can end on that note. I pray and hope for your wish to come true that someone like Elizabeth Warren is nominated. I beg for that. Mark, great to see you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.